Scal, we were just talking about that loss last night, which it's funny. Had it happened maybe a month and a half ago, I think we might be bitching and nitpicking and poke. But because they were on a nice win streak and they've been playing so well, last night was like second night back-to-back on the road, penciled in loss, not too much load management without JB. The one question I wanted to ask you, though, was positive question. Because I know you like.
You can go negative. I'm in studio.
No. This is actually.
Sometimes that stuff
is that how that works?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
that's why I'm here.
Studio. Oh, I like it.
Oh yeah, you can bring any kind of heat you want because I can interact with you. So, and by the way, it's your question, my answer. Now we can go back and forth.
Now it's just talking basketball.
100%.
Exactly.
100%.
So I don't know if this is negative or positive then, because our guy Justin Turpin, you know him, we all love him, had the stat the other night after Tatum's latest 10-plus assist game. It was the 7th of the season.
Yep.
Tying his career total from the rest of his career in totality. Well, when you look at that, what's the reasoning? Is that him taking his game to the next level? Is it him trying to prove something? He was struggling at times when teams were double teaming. Remember the Warriors game? Like, what's your reaction to sort of those numbers?
Yeah, a lot more touches, right? And he's getting off of it quicker. Like, he's not looking to always make the play. It's sometimes like it's simple. The faster I get off the ball, the more that I can alleviate that double team down the road. And I think that he's watching that unfold faster than what he used to do. It was almost like, okay, I have the ball, score. Oh my gosh, I have two people on me. Now it's, I have the ball. I'm not worried about my man. My eyes are up here, and I'm also looking at the weak side. Did you guys see the play last night where he threw the ball up to Keita? Keita should have made a play on the ball, but immediately he was like, man. He points to his head. He goes to Keita. He goes, don't worry about that. That's my bad. I should have hit offside corner. Yep. That is serious understanding of playing that position, right? Because if always first man, your guy on you. Second man, then there's low man, then there's fourth man. Like, he's reading that at a high level, and that's the reason why his assist numbers are going up. He's just making more simple plays, which is with this team and the shooting that we have, it's going to add up.
So this is some Tom Brady-ish. Everybody used to talk
I'm
about.
I'm not going to go there, but he's getting.
Tom's in year 10. He expects his receivers and everybody to catch up. Like, Tatum's seeing the court as a veteran scientific
But this
maniac.
is year 1 of doing it, because you brought the Warrior game up.
Yeah,
He was shook during that game. There were times where teams could blitz him. By the way, the book on Tatum for the league. Don't ask me, ask the NBA. It's you got to tilt the defense towards him. So if he drives, you got to squeeze up on him. You don't allow him to go one-on-one. You pressure him and force him into help. You try to speed him up. That book is now burned in the fireplace, right? There'll be a new book. It's just how the league works. But the new book will be, maybe it's not the double teaming him. Maybe it's just playing him and meeting him at the rim. But he has, over the last 3 years, he has checked a lot of boxes as far as what you consider an elite on-ball playmaker.
Do you think winning the championship last year, do you see a more of a calmness, confidence, just a different energy? Maybe since he's won it, he doesn't feel that pressure to have to do it. He's done it, and now he can take his game to another level with that pressure not being there.
So there's this stat, Ted, in the NBA where if you give a scorer 30 touches, they shoot 18 times. So let's just use a number, right? They shoot 18 times. But if you give that scorer 40 touches, they only shoot 2 more times. So I think it's a combination of he has the ball in his hands so much. He's making so many plays. He's not pressing the issue any longer. It's cool. I'll just get rid of it. Quick pocket pass. I'm going to throw the ball to Keita in a short roll position. I'm going to throw the ball to Luke Cornett for him to make the right play. The only way you're doing that is if you're getting massive amounts of touches. So as his usage, and I've mentioned this on the show, as his usage goes up, and so does our wins, right? Because as his usage goes up, his calmness takes over. And I don't know, maybe you can equate that into a different sport. I feel like you just give a quarterback more opportunities, he's going to make more plays. He's not going to be so, oh my God, I got to complete every pass. You know what? I'll just throw this one away. I'll just make a simple play. Let me just dump it to the weak side. Tatum is advanced at making the simple play, and which is allowing him to now get the 10 assists tonight that you mentioned.
So a lot of that is about maturity and experience.
And touches.
Yeah.
Remember, we don't have Marcus Smart anymore.
Yep.
There were guys that I disagreed with when we did it, that we were taking away possessions from Brown and Tatum. The best thing we did was get, like, Drew Holiday's a point guard who never has the ball in his hands.
Right.
Think about it, right? We now have Tatum and Brown just get so many more opportunities and touches that those guys are just making more plays.
But what did you make this week of the comments? I want to say the Washington Post, whatever he did an interview with the Washington paper and basically said he doesn't get the credit he deserves. He kind of said, if you took my face and name off the accomplishments and just listed what he's done, it might be promoted at a different level.
Sure.
It seems like he's still chasing something, which is weird because they won the title and he said, what they going to say now?
Sure.
But it feels like he's still chasing. Is that accurate? Is he insecure? Like, what's that about?
No, I actually don't know. When a player says that kind of stuff, like, I feel like in our society now, like, you can easily get attached to the negative comments, right? Like, when I first started broadcasting, I'd look at social media and there would be whatever 10 people. Man, I really enjoy you on the broadcast. Yeah, it's a good job. Oh, that was funny. Blah blah. Man, you suck. Right. And like, it's just natural.
It's actually right here on this text line.
Yeah, it's just natural to gravitate towards, like, people saying bad stuff around you, right?
Yep.
So that is what seeps through. By the way, if you're taking a one-hit wonder, hot take on ESPN, you think when Kendrick Perkins says, man, Jayson Tatum's playing at an all-time level right now, that doesn't get picked up. Oh, man, they need to trade Brown and Tatum. That gets spread.
Right.
Like, that's the hot take. And it's the society that we live in. And now I think because that has gone viral, everyone does it just to go viral. You know what I mean? So that's the term of hot take. But I think in the inner circles of basketball, I tell this story. It's a long story. I'll say it short. Like, I went to Michael Jordan's basketball camp in Santa Barbara, and he basically picked me on his team, and we rolled through everybody all week, right? It was Darius Miles and some high school players, me and Michael Jordan. So, like, when people always say negative things to me, you guys understand, like, like, Jay Kidd's my boy. Garnett loves me. Michael Jordan picked me on his team for 2 straight weeks.
Right.
You think I care what Bob, living in his mama's basement, thinks about my game? You see what I mean?
Yep.
So for Tatum, I don't understand how this works, but you would think, like, he'd been stamped by so many studs. Like, LeBron calls him the problem. And what does it matter what other people say when the greats of the greats are stamping you, right? I don't know. If Tom Brady stamped me, I don't care what anybody says. And I try to, like, There's
a lot of truth to that.
I was trying to give my daughter, like, the same kind of thing. Like, listen, you're concerned by what people think. What if Caitlin Clark was like your dog? How would you feel? Like, how would you walk around your life? She would be like, I wouldn't care what anybody says. Well, welcome to my world.
Are we good? Can we keep going?
No, we're rolling, baby.
Okay,
I got all day. Unless you guys
time.
got things to do.
No, we have to talk to you. We have so right now the NFL Combine's going on. I'm curious. I did one time watch an NBA Combine, and it just was so different. Do they still have they don't promote it. What's that like? And is there a lot of good information gleaned from NBA Combines?
Sure. Like, some stuff holds true. Like, length is a big thing, right? How
you do all the measurements.
Yeah,
right?
I got your vertical, second jump, third jump, standing jump, like those things.
Even the bench, but it's was it 185 bench?
Yeah. How many times you can do it? Like that.
How many times can you do it?
At the time, it was like 23. But,
nice.
But
not
we
bad.
don't do 225.
No,
you guys
it's like 185. We did 225.
Yeah, we do 185, right?
Yeah.
But you're like training for that, right? So you're trying to get good numbers. But it's like this. Basketball is more like quarterback. You have to make good decisions. Like, I'm not saying that all football is not like that, but really, when you hand the ball off to the running back, he has to read the play, but he doesn't have to decide pass, flip back, right? So,
and the run is designed for a certain hole.
Correct. You hit exactly.
Right?
So you could see how, like, measurements could, like, if you're, I don't watch a lot of football, but I don't know anything, but I do know during that last Super Bowl, the one line busted up the other line.
Right.
And usually every time I watch football, which is 3 times a year, whoever winning is that, if I watch and one thing shifts to another, feels like that team wins. I don't need to know anything else, and they can give credit to whoever they want to get credit to. Every time I watch football, whoever wins that little area seems to win the game, right? It's also the same thing in basketball, but they don't it's not sexy, right? Rebounding, restricted area defense. Yesterday was a little bit of an anomaly we were playing terrible. We were tied at half because we were making all the threes.
Absolutely.
Right? But basketball is a decision sport. That's why you get like me and Georges Niang and Slow-Mo can actually play in the NBA because it's like it's about decision making, right? That I don't think there has been a test for football or basketball or anything about elite decision making or poise or control. But if there was, that would be like the special sauce.
It's decision making in a split second in high leverage, situations with stress.
No question.
And so it's very, very different.
Yeah, and I think like that's why quarterbacks for the most part, you could draft a dude number one and he could end up not being good because maybe that elite decision making isn't there, and you won't ever be able to see it. Yeah. You only be able to see it in the pros, right? That's kind of without knowing anything, it just feels that way to me. And so, a guy with the ball in his hands, it all comes down to can you make an elite decision, shoot, pass, drive, pull up, play off 2 feet. All those things are happening quickly, and there's no test at the combine for that.
As you can probably hear, Brian Scalabrine from NBC Sports Boston is in studio today with lots of energy for a guy who just got back from Detroit. You've been saying all year, you've been pretty consistent. I don't care what Cleveland's doing or OKC, 7-game series, the Celtics are still the team to beat. Is this starting, because Ted and I talked about flipping a switch, and he thinks the 0-2 Patriots. They won in 0-1, 0-2, they kind of let their foot off the gas, and then they just never could flip the switch to get ready at the end of the season to make the playoffs. Has this team flipped a switch? Are they kind of rounding into form, prepping for the postseason, hitting their stride?
So you say team, but to me, it just feels like Tatum and White have just really.
Well, certainly Tatum.
Oh, yeah.
So we
Derek
targeted.
White too.
But Derek White was slumping. Tatum from afar. And I think we talked about this in one of the phone hits, but Ted and I were talking about that Heat game. Halftime, third quarter, inflection point. Did Joe learn a button, push a button, manipulate? It seems like that was a jumping. It feels like if this team wins the title, we might circle that as when the roll towards the next title began.
Best bet on DraftKings right now is Tatum MVP of the finals because the odds are nowhere near
giving freebies.
No, but nowhere near the Celtics winning the title.
Yep,
they're much better, but Is there a world where he doesn't win MVP if we win a championship?
I mean, my guy JB.
I understand all that. But
last year.
I understand all that, but that's why it's a good bet.
Yeah,
because it just seems like this year, if it does happen, that's the guy that's going to do it. And if he's like the way he's playing right now, everybody who has a vote respects the hell out of the way he's playing. So White's making shots. He even made shots last night when we got smoked, right? Tatum's gone up to a new level, and then everybody else is you have your hit and misses all the time, and Brown's having his moments and everybody else. But I just feel like that switch that you're talking about is really two guys. It's Derek White, making every shot, it seems like, and Jayson Tatum.
And the other night, so we talked to you about the quirky things, the broadcast, whatever. What was the deal with the headbands the other night?
Oh,
why did Jayson Tatum have – you even got confused at one point. It was Laura Drude might have, gave credit for a block, and it's they all look the same when they have these stupid headbands on.
I don't know.
What is that about?
I don't. You know what? I gotta be honest with you. If the whole stay in your lane thing.
Yeah.
We have Forsberg, we have Abby, we have Kayla. Isn't that their job? Do I care about headbands? But I don't want to take their shine.
Okay.
No, I'm not trying to be like that.
That's their department.
Just a union. Yeah. You guys really want to hear me guess and ask them? If I have a burning question to ask Jayson Tatum.
It's not going to be the headband.
Yeah, you want me to burn it on that one?
No, you should ask him why he's so sensitive about the credit he's getting or not getting and see how that goes.
Yeah, or that Kata play. When did you know you messed that up? Oh, man, as soon as I threw it, or I thought this or that. I want to know what he's seeing because that whole what am I seeing when I make a decision – that is the special sauce in what Jayson Tatum is doing right now. So if I'm going to ask him any question, it ain't going to be headbands.
You still love that stuff, right? Nuts and bolts and
Dude, that's the stuff
not
that makes...
the massive dunk that we all wow over. It's how did we get to that dunk?
Or we're on the same page as the Miami double fist pump to the chest. We thought the same thing. Ooh.
Oh, yeah.
You're making the Miami Heat, the big bad Miami Heat, afraid of you right now. This is a big step. In the whole, where you started, where you've been, your high moments, your low moments, and now you're that dude, right? And that chest pump means more than what it just a guy hitting his chest, which we see plenty of phony dudes hitting their chest. There was some serious backing on that.
You don't see that from him very often.
Not really.
I talked to you after that game, and I remember you saying there's so many games that the coach, you have to pick your spots on when you want to lay into a player.
Yeah,
and it feels like in that game that Andy's referencing, the Miami game, that Joe was not happy, laid into him, and it had the desired effect.
Yeah.
And and then you don't have to go to that well for a long time, right?
Sure.
You can't go to that well. It's I like how you kind of described just you got to pick your spots as a coach when to kind of dig. If you're always mad all the time, the guys will tune you out. So it's up to the coach to know this is the opportunity for me to really prove a point.
Yeah.
And hopefully they respond, and they did. And so I got to be honest. I mean, I wasn't sure how Joe was going to be received initially when he was named coach a couple of years ago. But for a guy that had no experience, it seems like there's a synergy. There's a respect from the players to the coach and vice versa.
Sure. I think it's always giving guys an appropriate bump when they need it, right? When, there was what was that game where it just was so flat? Tatum was so flat, and Joe clapped twice and kind of rolled his hands like, let's go. Like, are you ready? You going to play? And then Tatum just boom. Just
he had it was a 2-for-1 situation that he didn't execute correctly.
Right.
And it was the little things like that upsets Joe.
Yep.
And he said something to him, and that
Yeah.
got him all back into focus.
Yeah, but let's be honest. Like, if you get, let's just call a spade a spade. If you get 5% more out of one of the best players in the world, that's like the secret sauce to everything.
It is.
Because those guys are operating on such a high level. You know, it's like when you play golf and you go from 130 to 100. It's a lot, but is it really doing anything? But, man, you go from 68 to 67, all of a sudden you're like, that's a big difference. Right. Well, Tatum's operating at a high level. He plays every night. He plays hard most of the nights. Like, he's getting after it. And you got more out of him? How the hell did you do that? Because that's what every coach is trying to do. And guys are motivated different ways. Like, if you watch the Lakers right now, like LeBron has been motivated by this Luka Doncic trade, the Lakers, you know, the honeymoon period. But if J.J. Redick can sustain that, it'll be really interesting to watch the playoffs, because I didn't think the Lakers are good at all. You watch them now, they're like a real team, and they have that special sauce right now. So that's the job of a coach. We all know the same stuff. Everybody knows. I know what's going on out there, but can you get the most out of guys? And at the highest margin in the NBA, you do that, you're doing something really well.
So we all know if they win another title, Tatum will keep playing the way he's playing, JB, the whole thing. We know why they'd repeat. If they don't, if they come up short, what? And no injuries. Forget like a bad injury, because that whatever. No.
Okay.
Other than injuries, why would you say they come up short?
Yeah, I mean, I could probably only come up with one way that would work. Like, it would have to be, so can I just throw out, obviously, you know, we can lose a game with the way that we play, right?
Sure.
The shooting, right?
Yeah, you miss your threes, you lose.
So like saying the Celtics are going to not shoot the ball well for 4 games out of 7, that's a little nuts, right? So I would have to say, like, if somehow, like when Jaylen Brown is playing one-on-one because everybody else is worried about shooting, like, we're going to win that game. So the idea of it is, you watch the Warriors right now, Jimmy Butler and their thing is doing well because they're so afraid of Steph Curry that Butler can go in the paint. And the reason why they beat us 2 years ago, they had all that shooting and Butler's in the paint playing off 2 feet, pump fake, step through, pump fake, foul.
Yep.
So, like, we have Jaylen Brown who does the exact same thing, right? So it would have to be a combination of somehow Jaylen Brown is not able to do that, even though the team is still building out and taking away the 3. And the only time that has happened this season where it's consistent was the Oklahoma City game. Casey Wallace did a great job, which I kind of felt like we just let go of the rope a little bit. But if somehow, like, Brown's not effective, there's a reason he won conference finals MVP and finals MVP last year. The team was so concerned with the shooting, and then Brown was like, are you serious?
I'll take all the space.
Yeah, you got Nembhard, you got Halliburton on me, and you're playing me one-on-one with no help?
Yep.
Is this a joke or what? And then psychological, layup, 3, pull up, right? Yeah. It changes, right? So it would have to be a guy that could stop Brown one-on-one. you have a lockdown corner on a bad wide receiver, and then everybody else getting cold at the same time. That would be the reason. And Oklahoma City does scare me because they got real individual defenders, like those guys really guard, and they have shot blocking now with both Chet Holmgren and Isaiah Hartenstein. So that's a legit team. Jokic is always a problem, but I don't see like the Clevelands or any, like, how could those teams beat us? Like, that would be, I know they got DeAndre Hunter, but he'll be on, we're talking about Jaylen Brown on Darius Garland for 4 straight games, and that's not going to work out for us. I feel like that's our advantage.
All right, Scal. Appreciate you coming in and chatting with us in studio. And
Told you it's better in studio.
Oh, much better. Always.
Better.
Hey, if anytime you want to come in.
Where's the other guy?
He's not in studio right now. So
he's at his home studio.
Him. So
you guys quarantined him or what?
Yeah. It's a long story. But
can I take 30 seconds?
Sure.
What was it like for the combine for you? Just for me.
It was.
You knew you were like. You projected what?
Well, so I was projected mid-second to mid-third, and I went mid-second.
Okay.
But it was nerve-wracking, very stressful, the biggest job interview you'll ever do, and it was incredible. I mean, but it was very, very, very stressful.
Gotcha. Did they pinch your love handles when you walked in?
They did that and a lot more, man. And it was. I
don't want to know about that.
Thorough investigation. Yeah, but okay. It was an awesome time, but probably the most nerve-wracking, most stressful job interview I've ever done.
And all of it, in hindsight, worth it or not? Like not worth it, but like. Yep. Was it all much to do about nothing, or no? It was the biggest part of your life.
It was definitely, there's a lot to it, and it was a big part of why I got drafted where I got.
Got it.
Yeah.
All right, Scal. Thanks for joining us.